This is a major steal for the Boston Celtics as people are freaking out over Jaden Springer and just how good he has been in the Summer League so far, and people are remembering how little it took the Celtics to get him as he is turning into a guy that could very likely contribute to a deep playoff run Celtics team in this upcoming season. We gotta get into Jaden Springer and just how great he's been. Plus, the Celtics make a sneaky signing of NBA level talent Ron Harper Jr. to a non-guaranteed training camp deal. We'll go over the impact of that and the impact it could have on the long-term health of the Celtics. All of that coming up on this episode of Celtics Digest. But before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys, we got daily or near daily Celtics content here at Celtics Digest. Myself, Bruce, and Godfrey, we grind every single day to get this in for you guys. So if you like the kind of stuff that you see, hit that subscribe button down below. We crossed 5,000. We'd love to hit 10,000 during this season. So if you want to be a part of it, we'd love for you to support us. We're going to get right into this video though, and I got to talk about this signing. That is Ron Harper Jr. Yeah, Ron Harper Jr. I believe his father, I believe it was Ron Harper, though I guess I didn't fact check that. I just kind of assumed. If I'm wrong, go correct me in the comments. But the Celtics today signed him to a deal. The Boston Celtics, according to Keith Smith, have signed Ron Harper Jr. to a non-guaranteed training camp contract, a league source told Spot Track. Am I the only one that always calls it Sport Track? It just seems like it should be Sport Track, but it's actually Spot Track. I don't like that. Regardless, we got to get into Ron Harper Jr. now. He is a guy who did play in the Summer League game yesterday. He only played about 10 minutes, but was somewhat noticeable. It's not like he set the world on fire, but he's not a bad player at all. And if we take a look at some of his G League stats, 6'4", 233, he's pretty bulky dude, honestly. He's got long arms and he can knock down the three ball, kind of does it all. 14 points a game, 4 boards, 3 assists with a, decent PIE. But, he played 10 games with the Raptors over the past couple of seasons, so he's one of those fringe NBA level talents. And those are always valuable to have around your organization. And the first reason that the Celtics are doing this, they saw him play really well in the Summer League. That's part of the reason the Celtics are aiming for a big Summer League this year. They're trying to bring in some guys that already have that big-time NBA experience. But when it comes to Ron Harper Jr., this is a very low-risk move. Does he project to be on the Celtics NBA roster? No, I wouldn't say so. I would say there's a few people ahead of him in the pecking order before he can make it. But could he be on the main Celtics roster? Absolutely, I think he could. This is a dude that had a 30-point triple-double in the G League. Was it last year or the year before? Regardless, we saw his numbers. This dude can absolutely hold his own in the G League. When you have a guy with that NBA level experience, especially when you're a team like Boston, who's going to have probably a number of future NBA talents on their G League roster, which is not something that's super common in the NBA, but we saw Jordan Walsh down there. J.D. Davison yet to be seen if he'll end up cracking the roster long term. We'll talk about him a bit later, but there are going to be some guys that have NBA hopes playing for Maine this year, and if Ron Harper Jr. can play for Maine, he's not one of these veterans that goes down to the G League and plays into their 30s and helps the young guys like we saw Celtics legend Amir Johnson do near the end of his career. He's still 24, he's still pretty young, but he has that NBA experience. He knows how to get up there. He knows how to show what you need to show at the G League level to make that jump. And that is incredibly valuable when you're a young guy, say on the Maine Celtics, and you have this kind of guy in there to help you out. So again, this signing doesn't set the world on fire. I've used that analogy twice in this video. Maybe I should think of something else. But Ron Harper Jr., it is a cool signing to me. I watched him play on the Raptors. I've seen his game. I like it. I think he can be a nice, impactful player for Maine. Maybe someday in the future could be for Boston. I think they have enough guards already that can make the roster, including a Jaden Springer that we'll talk about in a bit. But hey, it's a cool signing, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on Ron Harper Jr. down below, because honestly, I like this. Low risk, could end up paying off very well for the future of the Celtics. But we're going to move into the big stuff now. Now, look, this is not going to just be a game recap here. I'm going to focus on some specifics, because I'm sure a lot of you have seen this Summer League game. Now, it was a brutal loss to the Miami Heat. People were kind of upset that the Celtics lost, but it is what it is. It's a Summer League game, and all you want to see is your guys doing well. And honestly, it went almost as perfect as you could have imagined. And look, I'm going to get to Jaden Springer a bit later. He's the big focus of this video. He's that major steal. But there's a few guys I want to talk about first. Now, we're not going to talk too much about Jordan Walsh. He looked okay on defense, right? He's still hustling. He's getting bored. He looks athletic. His shooting was not great. He had a couple of times where I was questioning his decision-making, but regardless, Neemias Queta was quite good, 20 points, had a lot of nice offensive rebounds, so you can see 6 of them cleaning up some misses. But I want to talk about Baylor Scheierman. Now, Scheierman, look, again, not just going to be a game recap, but I want to focus on some specifics and what he can bring to Boston going forward. His three-point shot is something that a lot of people really value, right? I mean, he's a guy who was very solid in college. He had 38% from three last year, 39 in his college career. My gosh, that picture is just elite, isn't it? 18.5 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, is a 6'6", so he's listed as a guard. I suppose he's more of a 2 or a 3, but still, he's a guy the Celtics picked 30th overall. Hey, low-risk move, can shoot the ball. My gosh, his first few shots in this game were so way off. It looked like he had the yips. He had this crazy hitch in his shot. But as the game went on, something stood out about Scheierman. Not only did his shot start to fall, started to look a little more efficient, started to look smoother, his vision is unbelievable. Like, that's one thing I didn't really, I mean, I kind of knew. I mean, they were talking about how he models his game after Joe Ingles, and you can really see that, right? The vision he had on some of these plays, there was one where he stepped back into a pump fake to feed a rolling Keita, and there really wasn't much room to make that pass, but he did it. He was just able to make the right decisions a lot. And that's one thing that is extremely valuable when you're trying to make that jump to the NBA, because not everyone can be a bus driver. You know, that analogy we always hear. You got to pick your spots. And with Baylor Scheierman, those little aspects, that all-around game that he has, he struggled to shoot in the start of this game. He still went out there. Let me show the box score again. He still went out there, got 5 rebounds, got 6 assists. Yeah, he had 6 fouls, but we'll ignore that for now. But the shots started falling. He was making winning plays on the court. So that's just one thing I wanted to highlight about Scheierman and how that could really benefit the Celtics long-term. These all-around guys that can also shoot, not just 3 and D, but if you can 3 and D and still be a good passer, it's unbelievable. So I love that from him. But I got to focus on some Jaden Springer stuff. Oh my gosh, this guy. Jaden Springer is absolutely unbelievable. His defense was so good. And don't forget, the Celtics got him for a 2nd-round pick from the Sixers last year. There's a tweet here from Adam Taylor. Go check it out. I believe I'll probably link that down below so you can watch this clip. But some excellent defense from Springer. Starts the possession, guarding up on Jaime Jaquez Jr., gets switched onto Kel'el Ware, creates an angle to disrupt the passing lane, and gets the steal. Shades of a young Marcus Smart. Now, that might be going a bit far. I don't think Jaden Springer's going to be Smart level, but absolutely it is shades of Smart. It's the same kind of stuff that Smart would do. It's not often that a guy of his stature can go and switch onto a big. I mean, he's 6'4", but he's not like the thickest guy in the world, but he did a dang good job. These are his stats last year combined between Boston and Philadelphia. And when we got him for a 2nd-round pick, I remember I was hyped. I was like, I love this guy. I love his play style. I love what he could potentially bring to the Celtics. And, you know, with the Celtics bench consistently being an area where you're like, maybe if they could add a bit more depth, it'd be nice. Like, they still want a championship. It is what it is. Like, you don't really need that much more, but having that weapon on your bench is so invaluable, right? Imagine having Derrick White and Jrue Holiday in your starting lineup, and then going to the bench. Not only is Pritchard just improving every single day, proving he's worth every single penny of that contract, but having an elite-level defender in Jaden Springer, who not only was an elite-level defender, his shot started falling now in the summer league. His shot is looking really good, and also his ball handling is not bad at all. That was one of the things, like, well, will he be able to do that at the NBA level? Still yet to be seen. The NBA level defense is definitely a step up from summer league, but Springer himself looks pretty comfortable handling the ball and a bit of P&R stuff. He wasn't, you know, the top-tier playmaker, but he was making some nice passes, had 6 assists. His shot was falling. These are the kind of attributes that you need to see from him, right? Because he was not super playable because his offense just kind of wasn't at that NBA tier yet. But I'm seeing improvements already. This guy, him for a 2nd-round pick is a crazy steal to me, because 2nd-round picks, yeah, sometimes they make it big in the NBA. A lot of the times they just kind of end up fizzling out after a little while. This is the last year of his contract, so there's going to have to be a decision made on him at the end of this season. But for what we've seen in the Summer League, from what we've seen in improvements from the day the Celtics got him, it's been unbelievable. Some of these clips of his defense are absolutely insane. So, yeah, crazy stuff from Jaden Springer. Let me know your thoughts on Jaden Springer down below. Oh, yeah, there is actually one more guy I want to talk about. That's Jahmi'us Ramsey, just briefly. I wanted to highlight Jahmi'us Ramsey, coming off the bench in 15 minutes, going 6 for 8 from the field. This is the dude who had 37 points, I believe, was it a G League game or a Summer League game against the Lakers? I forget, when he was part of the OKC organization, but yeah, solid little pickup there for the Summer League squad. Ramsey looks really good, really quick. There was an insane finish he had around the rim, so I like him too. Now, again, a lot of these guys are never going to make the Celtics NBA team or play heavy minutes for them, but anytime they can show their talents, you got to get a little bit intrigued, because you never know which kind of guy might be able to step up. That'll do it for this episode of Celtics Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe like I asked you at the start of the video down below. We got all kinds of Celtics content all off-season long. I've been your host, Josh Gosse. I'll catch you in the next one.